Howdy there. A couple days ago, I watched True Grit, the 2010 Coen Brothers remake. Usually I like to keep the box. I rented it on Blu-ray. Usually I like to keep the box for visual reference and names. I love reading the names off the back. But I've returned it, so I've got to do my best from memory. It was a couple days ago. I really enjoyed it. This is the third time I've seen it. The first time I've seen it at home. Saw it twice in the theater. And once again, for the third time, I will have to give it a 9. I feel it's a solid 9. The Coen Brothers are some of my favorite filmmakers. They're in my top 5, definitely. They may even be number 4. We're talking all time, living, deceased, whatever, they would still be probably number 4 in my ranking of directors. I love pretty much all of their work. Even their, what I call their studio films, are at least funnier and weirder than most, even if it, I feel, is a compromise on their part. And their, original, spoiled by the studio work, is genius. I think True Grit is one of their best screenplays in a while. It's taken from a Charles Portis novel of the same. I think it's infinitely quotable. I want to remember large passages from the film because they're just so cool. Now, as a disclaimer, I have never read True Grit. I don't know how much of Portis's language they use, so I don't know if I should credit Portis with some of the lines or them. So I don't know, but regardless, it's a fantastic screenplay. It's, the backbone of the film. It is the film. It's why it's so good, is because the screenplay is fantastic. It's fantastic. I think it's their best screenplay. Maybe since Big Lebowski. I know No Country for Old Men, I feel, might be their greatest film. It might be their masterpiece. But I don't know if I can call it their best screenplay, just because the language here is so unique. And they had to write in another person's voice, which they had to do for No Country for Old Men. But anyway, this is more extreme. And to have it feel fresh and have it be from, Civil War era America, I think is a challenge to them, and I think they pulled it off, and it feels really fresh. It feels like we should be talking like that now. At least that's what I thought. Let's see. True Grit is about a girl. Her father is murdered by a spineless coward, and she sets off to catch him. Wants to catch him the whole time, and hires a U.S. Marshal to escort her to bring back Tom Chaney to justice. In a nutshell, that's what the film's about. Let's see, it stars Jeff Bridges, Haley Steinfeld. I think this is her first film. I think she was pretty much discovered for this film by the Coen Brothers. Is excellent. She's young, she carries the film, she's good, she has an aura of wisdom that is beyond her years. Let's see who else is in there. Matt Damon, Jeff Brolin. Is his name Jeff Brolin? It's Brolin. What is it? Anyway, lots of character actors. You'll recognize a lot of faces. Barry Pepper. Barry Pepper has a glorified cameo in the film. He plays not the bad guy, Tom Chaney, but the badder bad guy, who is Tom Chaney's boss. Barry Pepper is a great actor. We don't see him much anymore. I don't know what's going on with him. But whenever he shows up, he's always good. And he always brings a energy to his role. Even when he's in a bad movie. And Barry Pepper is in arguably one of the worst films of all time, Battlefield Earth. But yet, he attacks it with, energy and the feeling that this will be a great movie. And here, he's manic. He's like a mad dog, and I can't shake his teeth. His teeth, haunt me. I have nightmares about his teeth in this film. But he's good here. Really good. Even though he's only in it just very briefly, you remember him. Jeff Bridges is great. He always is. He was nominated for an Oscar for this. I don't know how he got his voice to do that. He must have... obviously he worked on a lot, but I was kind of thinking that there might be, something shoved in there, like Marlon Brando to get his voice down the way he wanted it to be in The Godfather, put balls of cotton into his mouth. I was wondering if Bridges did something like that. I haven't heard or read anything about that, but he alters his voice greatly. I don't know how he did it. I've tried, to sound like he sounds in that movie just to see what he might have done, and I can't get it anywhere near, what I want it to be. So I don't know if maybe that's some special effects audio trickery, or if there was something practical he did by shoving something into his mouth. But his voice is just great. His performance is great, but everything he says and the way he says it is awesome. It sounds really cool. It sounds like Rooster Cogburn could sound no other way. But he's great, and as a side note, I would kill to have Jeff Bridges' hair. He's probably got the best head of hair in the world, and I wish I had Jeff Bridges' hair. Anyway, that's a side note. Haley Steinfeld's awesome. Who else is... Matt Damon, always good. He's very good here. I think his character, this kind of gets into... I really think it's a quintessential Coen Brothers script. It's really got everything, highlights everything from the entire Coen canon. It's got these little philosophical twists that, you don't know if they're blatant and they mean something, but again, that's just little slight stuff that I can't shake, and it mostly focuses around Matt Damon's character. The first line that Matt Damon's character speaks is, "My name is LaBeef," which is one of my favorite lines of the film. The first time I saw it in the theater, that line got a large crowd reaction of laughter. A lot of people laughed at that line. The second time I saw it, no one did anything, which was kind of weird. But with "I am LaBeef," people laughed. And then, later on, several other lines of the first scene, the first lines of several scenes, you know, after, deal with LaBeef. It's, where is LaBeef? Who is LaBeef? Things like that. And it's not like blatant, but it's, as soon as I, you know, start thinking about it after the film's over, it's just like, what could that mean? Why did they mention him so much? So it's just something that I don't understand. You know, it's not anything I know. It's just something I noticed. And maybe with repeat viewing, something will dawn on me. But there's something existential, I think, going on there. One of the best scenes involves another Coen trademark, is a man behind a counter, a man behind a desk with a person in front of a desk. And here it's Haley Steinfeld versus a very old character actor. I don't know his name, but I certainly know his face. I feel like I grew up with him. And they have a remarkable scene, the best scene of the film, trading back and forth. Also has one of the best lines of the film. I do not entertain hypotheticals because reality is vexing enough. Fantastic. You know, you got that man behind the desk, and it's by far the best scene of the film. And it's just rapid fire talking, and talking in a almost what you would call a dead language. You know, English is very, very different in this film. You know, Civil War era English. I don't even know what I would want to call it. What else do I want to say about it? Brolin, God, I can't remember is it Jeff Brolin? Brolin? What is it? This is why I like The Box. I like how, you know, how he's caused so much pain. You know, basically the story is happening, the film is happening because of his actions. And the first bad thing that happens to him is like, he's like, oh, nothing ever goes right for me. You know, it's just, you know, he's ungrateful, you know, he's an idiot, you know. But I really, again, he's only in the film a little bit, but his performance is great. His character was very good. All the characters are very good. All the characters are very well written. Even minor characters feel totally fleshed out and like they have a history. Oftentimes they do reveal history just very briefly in conversation. So it's like telling you important nuggets of themselves just like that, you know, just like briefly in conversation. So yet you still get that knowledge. Especially with Rooster Cogburn, unveils a lot about himself, just in rambling monologues that you, the viewer, have to pay attention to. But it's like almost like he's so grateful to have someone to talk to. He just unloads his life story, you know, just casually, you know. It looks great. If there's one thing that it bugged me was, you know, there's a lot of CGI, everything's shiny and happy. I think that's because it's a Spielberg production. I think it's interesting that Steven Spielberg is working with the Coen brothers. You know, that made this interesting. But Spielberg likes everything shiny and perfect and CGI and big studio green screen and everything. And I think that's kind of, you know, a counterpoint to the Coen's rawness. So I think that they work well together, but still it's like, it made me feel uneasy, you know. So that's what I kind of didn't like about this film, is how everything was shiny and just perfect, and designer clothes and, you know, everything perfection. I'm running out of time. The third viewing of True Grit, the 2010 remake, was very good. I enjoyed it. The Coen brothers are awesome. It's one of the best screenplays, period. True Grit is a 9. Solid. All right, thanks.